We are screaming for our next guest, Neve Campbell. Before she lit up our screens in the Scream movie franchise and Party of Five, she was a budding ballerina, and now her new documentary, Swan Song, brings her back to the ballet, and she joins us to talk about it. It is so nice to see you, Neve.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys.
We all immediately noticed you're always pointing your toes because you are a former ballerina, and now you're delving into this entire world again through this documentary. What was that like?
It was amazing. It was a beautiful experience. Chelsea McMullen, our director, and Sean O'Neill came to me a few years ago and said, Karen Kane, who's prima ballerina of the National Ballet of Canada, is finally retiring, and she's going to put a new Swan Lake on, and we want to document that experience and that sort of journey for her and for the company. So I was like, she was my idol. Like, you guys don't understand. She was my idol. She's the reason I'm an artist. So I was very excited to be a part of it.
And you talk about the journey. It's also a journey for your family. Your whole family was involved in this, and your father is in the film.
Wow. They didn't realize that my stepmother, Barb, has worked for the National Ballet as a wardrobe person for 25 years.
Wow.
And my dad does a super, as an extra sometimes for the ballet. So.
Yeah.
And so he was actually involved in this one, in this Swan Lake.
That's beautiful. And so many people are appreciative that you all really take on some really important and big issues in the film. And were your eyes open to some of the changes that have taken place over the years, ballet?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always been an awareness that there's very specific body types that are required. And also, it was very white, the companies, the ballet world. And that is slowly changing. And in this movie, we look at the topic of pink tights. And we've never looked at that before because white dancers, well, in ballet we always wear pink tights, but for a person of color, that's maybe not comfortable. And so in this movie, they make a change with that.
Wow. Wow. Can we see a clip?
Yeah, please.
Okay, let's take a look.
In 2020, we had conversations with the dancers in the company, and I had no idea that this was an issue for them, but I found out that wearing tights that weren't their skin color bothered them. It just never occurred to me. And then I started thinking for Swan Lake, when they're in the corps de ballet, they don't have to all have pink legs. That's always been tradition with Swan Lake.
Yeah, so they ended up asking the dancers not to wear tights at all, so that all the dancers could feel included. And for some of the dancers, that was very new and different and slightly uncomfortable, but I think very necessary.
How did your experience of being a dancer inform your production, since you're the executive producer?
I know the world. You know, Chelsea and Sean, when they came to me a couple of years ago, they said they had some influence from a movie that I had produced 20 years ago that Robert Altman directed called The Company that I danced in with the Joffrey Ballet. And so I think they were aware that, I had some insight. I've been dancing since I was 6. I was at the National Ballet School by the time I was 9. I grew up in that world. I was in Sleeping Beauty and Nutcracker with the National Ballet of Canada before I became an actor. And so I think I was able to have a realistic perspective on what these dancers go through and have some insight into, what the edit should be. And I think I was able to give some insight. So,
Speaking of worlds you grew up in, I grew up in the Scream world. All Scream throughout my childhood, and now you've got the 7th Scream in the works.
Can you believe it?
7. It's hard to believe. What can you tell us?
Nothing.
But we see it right there. We see a picture of the cover.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited about it. You never expect a movie to be as successful as that, and you never expect a movie to turn into a franchise. Even, of course, for a film like that with a horror movie, you would hope that perhaps that could happen, but for it to become such a part of pop culture is beyond.
Do you have a favorite among the first 6?
The first, because it was the first, I think that was the magic, the first one. We had such a beautiful experience on that, a lot of fun, and obviously its success was exciting. But we've had a blast on all of them, to be honest.
Someone was telling me a story about you with your kids at camp and something.
My son is at sleepaway camp right now, and I can't talk to him right now, but I can see photos every day. And they were having a Halloween night last week, and I saw that there were 2 ghost faces in the photos. I was like, How is that possible? Even at my son's camp. Yeah, it's pretty wild. You know, on Halloween, I open the door sometimes and there'll be a ghost face there. And I surprise them.
They're the one who's really, I mean, it's apropos. You probably freak them out when they see you when you open the door.
Yeah, they get slightly excited. But
No, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here with us. And Swan Song is available now to watch anywhere that you rent your movies.